welcome back. This is the second part of Chapter 2, Section 1. Again, we went over this big process we call the rock cycle. We have sedimentary rocks, which again are pieces of rock. They're broken down over time, weathering, erosion, and then put under extreme pressure. Now, the cool thing about sedimentary rocks is, or any of the rocks is, they can become a new type of that same type of rock. So if I'm a sedimentary rock, and I'm up on the surface, and wind, and weather, and rain, and ice all break me down, well, I might end up with some, in another area, under a different amount of pressure, and become a new type of sedimentary rock. Or I could melt and be on my way to cooling off and becoming an igneous rock. Again, the same thing. I melt, I'm turned into lava if I'm on the surface, or magma underneath. But I'm that melted rock, and perhaps I melt and I cool really slowly and I become one type of igneous. And then I get heated up again and I cool really fast and I become a different type of igneous. Or I might continue my journey and head over to metamorphic rock, in which heat and pressure change me. Again, same thing. I can become under a different amount of heat and pressure and become a new type of metamorphic rock. At any time, a metamorphic could become a new type of metamorphic, or go up to sedimentary, or go over to igneous. Of course, we're talking millions of years here, thousands and thousands of thousands of years, just to break them down when we're talking about sedimentary, all those times. But we can go any direction. We also talked about the two main ways that we categorize rocks. One is composition. When you think of composing music person putting together music, well, what does a rock, what does it put together with? And so we have what minerals are in the rock and how much of each of those minerals. A rock with 10% mica and 90% feldspar is going to just have a couple of black flecks in that brown rock. However, if I make 50% of each, it's going to be half of that brown, black flaky rock of mica, and then half of it being that brown feldspar. The other way is texture. How does it feel? So the two that are the closest are fine and medium. We have fine on one end, which is I can hardly even tell that there's a grain, all the way up to coarse, which is big chunks. But in the middle, we call that medium. And so here are two examples. When you look at this rock, very soft, you can hardly tell that there is a texture to it. However, when you move up to something closer like sandstone, you can start to see those pieces of sand. And then something coarse, like something they call a conglomerate, where I have a whole bunch of different little chunks of rock put together into a rock, is very large. Your questions today, as we finish the unit? Our list two ways rock is important to humans today. What are the three major rock types, and how can they change from one type to another type? How is lava different from magma? And explain the difference between texture and composition. As always, the more details you have, the farther you explain things, the better it is for your studying and for your grade.